So if you were giving advice to somebody about this kind of process, now that you've been through this huge process, a friend or a colleague that's going to do something like this, now that you've kind of lived through it, moved out, moved back in, had all these major life changes, what would be like a couple of real key takeaway pieces of advice you would offer somebody if they asked?
Yeah, I would say obviously check your references. So happy to be one for Biehl Brothers if you're looking for them.
Well, that's why we're here.
But I would say look for a group that has skin in the game. That's not just they're doing something bigger than just doing your project, right? It's not the one thing they're doing this year and going on to the next thing. They're trying to build something bigger because it means they have to do a really good job for you because reputation compounds. I'd say one of the things that really stood out to me when we were chatting early on was the dedicated team and having folks who are dedicated here. Kenny being on site whenever I pop by meant a lot. Understand it's tougher to staff that way than it might be if you kind of have people coming and going all the time. But it was great to be able to pop in, talk with him about the smallest detail or the biggest project scope, and having Brian over top was huge as well. So I would say make sure you have folks who have skin in the game. Make sure you have someone who you can talk to about the details of the project directly, and then ultimately you have to like them. That's a big piece.
Rapport is a big thing,
right? Yeah. Hey, if things go wrong, I need to be able to call you and have a conversation, and know that we're going to be okay at the end of it because we have a good rapport. A project, a housing or remodel project, nothing is going to be perfect ever. We knew that going in. Everybody knew that going in because you take a house that was built in 1910 and applies a little bit of 2023 magic to it. There's going to be some issues. But at the end of the day, we work through all of it, and I think that comes from liking the people you're working with.
Yeah, I agree, and I always say that that's big for us too, because fortunately, and I appreciate everything you said about having skin in the game, and we want to identify a company that wants to go somewhere. And one of the things I tell people from our end too is it really is a job interview both ways. I mean, you have to find a great contractor, but we're to the point in our career where we can kind of pick who we want to work for. And it was wonderful that you were referred to us, but also just getting to meet you it was actually the business event. I think it was the first time we met face to face. And to be able to have the luxury of setting your path to where you can work for the kind of people where you have a rapport, where you have things in common with is everything for us. So I appreciate you being willing to do this, and I appreciate you being that kind of person and blessing us with this work.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was stressful at times, but it was a lot of fun overall. And the flexibility you guys showed throughout it, as we were kind of working through the project and trying to figure out what is the scope, how does that all work. We threw landscaping and gutters at you, so we added more contractors.
Yeah, a couple little railings and things. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But being able to work through all of that, I think it really turned out extremely well. We're very happy with it. It was just 7 degrees in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, and our house would not have been somewhere where we could have stayed for that week, before this. So now, Quinn slept soundly at 69 degrees, which is awesome.
That's good, because that was the other thing.
Yeah,
it was communication and comfort.
Yep.
Making sure we got that. Oh, that makes me feel so good to have that, because I knew that was the mission, and I went to bed more than one night thinking about making sure that we got there for you guys.